If I was a degenerate member of society and not pick up that delicious packet of seed oil-free Cinna crisps, great discount on our website by the way, then that would be classed as littering, a criminal offence under the Environmental Protection Act 1990, and rightly so. I could be put in front of a magistrate's court and be issued with a fixed penalty notice, but no jail time. But let's say I was to clean this dirty lake without the proper licensing and permit. Well, like Paul Powlesland, the Environmental Agency could potentially have me imprisoned for up to 2 years. Yes, this is an actual news report, not a comical skit. This is Callum Smiles for Vox Populi by the River Rodding in the Epping Forest in Aldersbrook in North East London, where the most ridiculous legal action in the United Kingdom has highlighted one of Britain's biggest, dirtiest secrets. And that secret is the criminal polluting of British waterways, something which the now Labour government campaigned on solving in the 2024 general election. However, the problem persists, and more importantly, what is happening to the private citizens that are just fixing it themselves? So let's start with the good news. The Environmental Agency have dropped their legal action against Paul. However, the bad news is that the legal framework which allowed the action in the first place is still in place. So the next Paul could still face a legal battle that could result in up to 2 years imprisonment. So who exactly is Paul Powlesland? He is a UK lawyer who removed 200 bags of river waste and was facing up to 2 years in prison over a permit dispute. When Paul Powlesland joined volunteers to clean one of East London's most polluted waterways, he truly believed he was doing his bit to help nature recover after years of neglect. Instead, the British barrister found himself under investigation by the Environment Agency for carrying out restoration work without official permits, despite the fact the Environment Agency did nothing about it. According to him, numerous requests to the authorities to clean the river in Aldersbrook fell on deaf ears. Volunteers spent over 10 days clearing out the Aldersbrook, which is a tributary into the River Rodding. They hired an excavator, about £1,000. They cleared a 250-metre stretch of water, which was heavily polluted, and they cleared over 200 bags of rubbish. What they removed included branches of thick layers of silt, weeds, discarded household appliances, used needles, and even weapons. They did what the Environmental Agency was meant to be doing, but it seems they never intended to do so. Despite absolutely everyone with half a brain cell or more absolutely loving this, it appears the Environment Agency claimed the volunteers carried out unpermitted work, including dredging the river and moving waste from the floodplain without obtaining the required environmental permit under UK regulation. Due to widespread public pressure though, the investigation into Paul and his team has been dropped. But is this a London local issue, or are rivers around the country under threat? Well, in 2024, Labour made it a manifesto pledge to clean up our rivers and to sanction companies polluting our rivers, as well as the Labour Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, who was given the illusion of caring so much about water quality by saying he wanted to make London a swimmable city, and has spent an initial £2.5 million, with a further £2.5 million from Thames Water, installing 110 water drinking fountains across London since 2018. Well, 2 years on for the general election, the problem is still rife, and British waterways are incredibly polluted, and London is most certainly not a swimmable city. In 2025, water companies spilled raw sewage for about 1.9 million hours. That's about 290,000 discharges. A drop from prior years, but still massive, and not water you want to be swimming in or drinking. So Channel 4's Dirty Business docudrama spotlighted cases like a child's death linked to sewage pollution, as well as highlighting how new powers granted the water companies to all but self-regulate, as they now have significant self-monitoring and self-reporting responsibilities. And these have been heavily criticised as a key factor in the sewage scandal. This is because actually under the last Labour government, so since 2009 when this came in, water companies have been allowed and required to self-monitor much of their own pollution performance under a operator self-monitoring scheme. That basically means that let us know when it's going wrong so we can fine you. Now, anyone in the right mind would, never tell somebody that they've got it wrong so they can be fined. So they often don't. This clip from Dirty Business sums it up perfectly.
We want to strip out as much unnecessary regulation as possible. So, under operator self-monitoring, we're going to be asking the water companies to monitor their own environmental performance, flagging any breaches to us as a priority.
I don't understand. So, you want water companies to monitor their own pollution?
Yeah, it's about shifting the burden of regulation onto the companies and asking the water companies, if there's been a pollution, to give us the details.
Hang on. Just to be clear, you want us to ask the water companies to tell us when they've dumped sewage?
It's about pivoting away from on-site inspections to a more desk-based approach. Yeah, it's sort of streamlining our process.
So you want us to stop visiting sewage works?
No. We'll still be doing on-site inspections. Yeah, of course, provided that we give the company 2 weeks' notice of our visit.
Yeah, but that is a problem because.
Well,
sorry again.
Yeah.
But if we give the water companies 2 weeks' notice,
yeah,
they'll just clean up before we get there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an honour system, so if the companies say that there hasn't been an incident, I don't think we should go looking for reasons to challenge that.
So what you're saying is regulate yourselves and then just let us know if you've committed any crimes?
Yeah. Thanks so much. Okay, see you.
Not only that, have you noticed that everyone is talking about the dramatic rise in their water bills lately just to get water into their house? Maybe that's actually the water companies passing on the cost of the fine to the customers, while still paying enormous bonuses to the shareholders who are shouldering 0% of the responsibility. Recent fines include Thames Water with a record £104 million in 2025 for sewage breaches and failing to manage treatment works and networks. Southern Water were fined £90 million in 2021 for deliberate dumping, with continued high spill numbers in later years. In 2024, Ofwat proposed £168 million in fines for Thames, Yorkshire and Northumbrian Water over early sewage releases before heavy rain. So it appears in 2026, so-called developed Britain, we struggle to manage one of the most key essential ingredients for life, and that is water. From water companies to governing bodies, we seem to be getting it wrong at every step of the way. But the question is, what can you do about it? I don't just want to give you a problem, I want to try and help you out with the solution as well. Well, you could effectively become the next Paul Powlesland. You could just go and deal with the problem yourself. You can press your local MP. At the end of the day, it was politicians that got us into this mess. And you can look at what you do in your own home when it comes to high-end filtration systems or distillers to make sure you are consuming and washing with the best quality water. But before I let you go, this video is brought to you by our new sponsor, Unvaxidate, which you'll find single old me on, oi oi. Many since COVID not only want clean rivers, but they want clean bloodlines without the COVID vaccine in a potential partner. Well, Unvaxidate gets rid of all the guessing work. It's not like your run-of-the-mill dating sites and dating apps. This basically goes off the default setting of, You don't have to ask the question if they were unvaccinated. So in the description, you'll find a link to it and you can have a free trial, no payment cards required, where you can have access to all the premium features such as just messaging people without having to pay. And hopefully you will find your soulmate and the person you can have nice, healthy kids with. This has been Callum Smiles in North East London, looking at some very dirty rivers. I'll see you next time. As promised, I'm going to pick up this packet. I'm not a litterer. However, these delicious Cinna crisps, there's 0 seed oils, which anyone who knows anything about health knows that they are terribly bad for you. In fact, they're so good. Give some of these birds over here, and they'll find them a healthy, delicious snack too.